Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to be doing a little bit different of a video than I normally do because I've been doing so much stuff to my car lately. I have a 370Z now, so I've been using the 370Z forum a lot. Huge place for a bunch of information of anything aftermarket or stock, just anything you need to know about your 370. You can use that website for. I recently, within a couple months, changed out my steering wheel to an aftermarket steering wheel, and I couldn't keep the cruise control buttons. Now my car is tuned with UpRev, which I will be changing to EcuTech very shortly. You kind of need your cruise control buttons to switch tunes. So if you change this, normally your cruise control buttons sit in the steering wheel with the airbag. Now a lot of people's solution is to get a relocation bracket, which in my opinion are hideous because I hate the way these things look. They're like silver kidneys. And you can see with my aftermarket wheel, there's nowhere to put those buttons. I mean, sure, you can get some sort of fixture, but I mean, I don't really want to go that route. The steering wheel's for steering. That's kind of all I want. I mean, I got the horn here, but that's about it. So I kind of dived down the rabbit hole of looking through the field service manual, and I spent literally hours scrolling through the forums and through the field service manual just trying to find some sort of solution, and I ended up finding one that worked. So I'm going to share that with you guys in case you want to do it yourself. The first half of the video is going to be kind of like wiring diagrams. I'll try and break it down to those of you that aren't really super literate in wiring diagram, and then the second half of the video I'll kind of show off how I did it, what methods you can use, and yeah, let's get into it. The simplest way to lay this circuit out is you would have the SB wire, sky blue I imagine it is, coming into your first switch, which would be your on and off switch, and then you're going to daisy chain it over to the next switch with a resistor in between. And you're just going to do that with resistors in between each button or switch, whatever you choose to use, until you have 3 resistors and 4 buttons in total. And like all circuits, you have to complete the circuit with a ground, so you daisy chain those up top. No resistors needed because it is just a ground. And then that one comes off of the other wire, the yellow wire. This is the fundamental basics for how you want to lay your circuit out, and the values are in the field service manual. The resistors are going to be, and you can find all this information on the field service manual. So the resistors start off with a 250 ohm resistance or load capacity on this first resistor right here. The second one is going to be 660, and the third one is going to be 1480 ohms. So another important thing here is that when you have resistors wired in series, their resistances actually add together. For this first one, since there's nothing to add it to, you'd want it to be a 250 ohm resistor. For the second one, while it may read 660 ohms, you actually want this second resistor to be 410 ohms, because if you add that to 250, that's how you get 660, right? Following the same rule, you know, you want to subtract 1480 minus 660 and you get 820. So you want an 820 ohm resistor on this second one. I mean on this third one. These are the resistors that you want to wire in between your buttons, the values of them. So you would have your sky blue wire from your steering column harness going up to your on-off switch. From your on-off switch, you're going to run a wire into a resistor that's 250 ohms, and then run that into your cancel switch with another wire. And then to that same terminal that you connected it to, you want to run a wire to a 410 ohm resistor and run that over to your set. And then, you know, you carry on for between set and resume. You want to wire in between those two an 820 ohm resistor. So after you do that, you just connect all your grounds together. You want to plug this into your yellow wire, and you want to plug this into your sky blue wire, and it should be a functioning circuit. I tested this out first by using cardboard, and it worked great. So I decided to actually drill holes into my steering column and wire up the buttons. Alright guys, so after you've pulled your shroud, I have an automatic transmission, so I have these paddle shifter brackets that are in the way. I'm probably going to have to remove them because the buttons have to sit here. You know, behind the buttons there's a little bit of clearance. So you'll see these 2 harnesses below your steering column. These go to your clock spring. This one's for your airbag, and then this one's for all your controls. So if it'll focus, you can see there's a
It's called SB in the field service manual, so I can only imagine it's sky blue and yellow. You can look at the pinout as well, but I cut those and I went ahead and wired them into this plug here. So we take our positive and our ground signal wire from our harness, and we pretty much just make a little quick disconnect in case we ever need to take this off. So, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the cruise control brackets. It should just be this nut and 2 nuts. And then we're gonna have to relocate this harness right here because I believe that these are for the paddle shifters. Yeah, it looks like there's just 2 wires, so can probably do without those being connected, but I'm gonna leave them connected just in case. But yeah, I went ahead and I disconnected my paddle switches because I genuinely don't like having them. So yeah. All right, so I went ahead and disconnected the brackets that were right here. So got one that sits right here. There's a bolt back there and a nut up here. They're both 8mm. After you do that, you can take this off and disconnect the wiring harness from the back. I just tucked mine back here. I tucked this guy back there as well. Just don't want anything getting in the way. So I guess now we'll see if this fits on there. I'm gonna mess with it for a bit and then I'll show you guys afterwards. So we got the column back on, and unfortunately I did find out that I can't really keep this on here without this. So I'm probably gonna have to cut out the siding or something, because as you can see, the button gets right in the way of where this should go. Maybe? Yeah, it definitely does. So the screw goes in here for the steering shroud. It's also a bracket that holds it in place besides just being the paddle shifter switch. So I'm gonna have to cut this out somehow, for both sides, of course.
Hey guys, Future Kieran here. If you ever wanna reinstall your paddle switches, or maybe even sell your old steering column shroud, if you have an automatic transmission, that is, if you have manual, completely disregard what I'm saying. But if you ever want to reinstall your paddle switches or resell them, like I said, don't cut anything. Just take off the brackets and go on eBay and buy yourself a manual steering column shroud, because the manual transmissions are one piece. They only need those 2 screws up top to hold them in. The automatic transmission is 3-piece. It has like a center and then the 2 covers that go over, and those steering column brackets actually are responsible for both screws that hold in the steering shroud. So just get a manual transmission shroud and be done with it. If you have an aftermarket wheel, those switches are going to be too far to conveniently use anyways. Don't do what I did. I cut mine up only to realize that they still weren't going to work. So I went ahead and bought a manual transmission shroud, and it works perfectly.
So guys, I'm all finished up. I just got a wire and a plug there, but that's what it looks like. So these are all ring LED momentary push buttons. So basically you take that diagram that I showed you, and this is just for all the LEDs, so you can ignore that if you're not going with LEDs. But under here I have all the heat shrinked resistors and everything kind of running to where it needs to. It's all wired up to this plug. That'll plug into the connector that's under my steering column that I made. So yeah, we just gotta wire up these LEDs and then see if she works. Don't mind how messy my car is because I'm currently taking everything apart, but basically if you have an automatic transmission, you're gonna want to take these guys out. These are your paddle shifter brackets. I cut mine because I was trying to make it work with the automatic transmission shroud for the steering column. It's basically, it comes in 3 pieces, so you'll have your like center piece and then you'll have your paddle shifter slots. You can go the route that I did. I ended up getting a manual transmission steering shroud cover. I found one on eBay for about 29 bucks, so I went ahead and bought that. We got our buttons installed. We got everything nice and neatly wired up. This goes to our actual cruise control buttons, and this goes to the LEDs for all the buttons, since they are ring LEDs. So it should theoretically just snap on here like that and look like that. So the screw holes do line up once you get it all clicked in place. I still got to plug this in, but I'll show you guys when it's done. So I just finished wiring it up, or rather plugging it in. As you can see, the manual transmission steering shroud actually fits quite nicely. Instead of needing 4 screws to hold the middle piece on, you only need 2, and then you just put the little covers back on. But I don't know how well you'll be able to see because the sunlight is super fucking bright right now, but we got the lights are working on there. And to show you that it does work, this is on, this is decel, this is XL, and this is cancel. So for up rev, well, I'm not going to show you that yet, but to turn it on, push this. It doesn't work since my car is tuned. And how up rev works, you hold your set button or your decel button, and you tap set the amount of times that you want to swap maps. So let's say I want to go to tune 1, I press cancel once. You can see cruise control up there lights up once. If I push it 4 times, you see it blinks 4 times. If we do 3, see it blinks 3 times. Alright guys, it's currently nighttime. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like at night. So those are my 4 buttons that you can see through the steering wheel. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. So, you know, you can see my buttons. We've got all 3 of them right here, and we got our cancel. We got our on off, which does indeed turn cruise control on or off. We got our decelerator set, and our accel/resume. So it looks fucking great. Oh, also I changed all the LEDs in my car to purple. I'll be doing the dash soon, but that'll come later. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it helped out as much as the 370Z forum helps me. And yeah, you guys take care.